The criminal neglect of the proper arrangement of the site of the execution of the Rivne Jews and of their commemoration continued for another decade. From the memories of David Lee Preston, whose grandfather David Lee Preston and uncle Yasha Preston died in Sosonky.
No markers have been erected in their memory. About 2 miles outside the city, set off from the paved highway, Sosonky can be reached only by a dirt road so steep and rough that our taxi driver would not attempt it. A Jew who had survived the Holocaust by joining the Russian army directed us to the spot. That man's name was Yasha German. We arrived in the rain, so this was where they ended up, the Jews of Rivne. An area roughly 120 yards by 25 yards, unkempt, rugged, muddy, overgrown with weeds, surrounded with a rusted fence since the end of the war.
Only in the late spring of 1966, when more than 20 years had passed since the Nazis had been driven from the city, the Rivne City Committee decided to erect a memorial sign in Sosonky. The following year, a stele was erected there. The inscription on it read,
A monument will be erected here to Soviet citizens who died at the hands of the fascist invaders.
Thus, the text of the memorial silenced the fact that all those who died in Sosonky were Jews. The memorial was supposed to preserve the memory not of the executed Jews, but of the Soviet citizens without mentioning their ethnic origin. The monument in Sosonky was never erected during the existence of the Soviet Union. However, in the early 1980s, the tract was slightly rearranged. The place of mass killing was divided in half by a paved alley. 13 memorial steles of various shapes were installed on the graves. The images of internal fire and carnations were engraved on them. Opposite these steles, there was a memorial slab on the ground. The inscription on it was as follows.
Here lie 17,500 children, women, and old men brutally tortured by the fascists on November 6-7, 1941. Blessed be their memory. The sacred revenge of a Soviet soldier found the executioners.
The fact that the people who died here were Jews was not mentioned in the epitaph. An important component of the composition was a metal fence with the images of the victims' silhouettes. The outlines of men, women, and children with raised hands symbolized their uncontrolled movement at the moment of falling into the grave, and the victim's call to God at the moment of death. The images of people in the sections of the fence alternated with stylized images of menorahs and trees. Unfortunately, the fence disappeared from the site of mass shooting during the years of economic crisis in Ukraine. It was stolen and sold as scrap metal. This also happened to the iron letters that spelled the place name at the entrance to the memorial.